Adventurer 20 harp. This is the first tutorial. It covers some of the same material that's in the Adventurer 20 book, and I can tell you a little bit about getting started with your harp. So, here's your Adventurer 20. All of your red strings are C strings, all of your blue strings are F strings, and everything else fits in like the white notes on the piano for those of you who are pianists. So we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So red strings, C, blue strings, F. So I'm sure you're very excited to get started with playing your Adventurer 20. So we're going to start off just as I would in any lesson. We're going to start with our basic hand position for the right hand. So we only use 4 fingers when we're playing the harp. Thumb is number 1, index finger number 2, middle finger number 3 and ring finger number 4. The 5th finger is too weak to be of any use to us in harp playing and too short. So what I always say, the thumb is your big tall giraffe. And your big tall giraffe's always got to keep his head up so he can eat the leaves on the trees. Finger 2 is your diver, and he's diving into the swimming pool. So there we go, do you see there he is diving into the swimming pool. And what we do, thumb up, finger pointing down. Now the reason our finger is pointing down is so it's to do with the physics of the string. It's so that when we pluck the string rolls off the corner of our finger and it sets the string spinning in a circle, making the most beautiful sound. So my teacher always used to tell me back in the day when I was taught by David Watkins, grab a handful of harp string and pull. And we keep all of the movement within the hand. So we hold the string, so see I'm holding the string here, and then we just flick and fold the finger into the palm of your hand. What I say to the children is, imagine you've got a magic line in the palm of your hand, and that magic line is where all of your 4 fingers meet the palm of your hand. It's the magic line, and I always say, flick and fold your finger into the magic line in the palm of your hand. And the fingers are always in a very relaxed position. So this is the strongest position the hand can be in, and yet the most relaxed. It's the position babies have their hands in when they're in a cot, and the position that boxers use when they're fighting. So it's a strong position. Like David used to say, there's nothing delicate about playing the harp. So we grab that handful of harp string and we flick and fold. So, if any of you are pianists, this bottom C on your Adventurer 20 harp is middle C on your piano. There we go. And you might notice that I'm resting my hand on the side of the harp as well, my arm on the side of the harp. Now I always say lazy right arm, elegant left arm. Yeah, so lazy right arm, it's so lazy it can't pick up anything off the side of the harp. So as we're playing, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. So as we're playing, the arm just goes up and down the side. Well, it's not really up and down, it's forwards and backwards on the side of the harp. So we're just polishing that one side of the harp as we go. Fantastic. So you're eager to play your first tune. So I'm sure you'll all be familiar with this tune. It starts on E. So if you look closely, E is 2 strings up from C. So we've gone C, D, E. So 2 strings up from E. If you're looking in your Adventurer 20 method book, then you'll be able to see that the finger numbers are written on top of the copy. And for now, for our first lesson, we're just using finger 2. So we're getting familiar with that action of bringing our finger into the palm of our hand, of rolling the string off the corner of our finger, and making a fantastic sound. It's always listen to yourself, listen to the quality of sound that you're producing, even at this stage. So we're going to try hot cross buns, and I'm going to shout the notes out for you as we go. And we're just using finger 2, so think thumbs pointing up, fingers pointing down, and away we go. We're going to go E, D, C, well done. E, D, C, well done. C, 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 D, 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 E, D, C. And very important that the audience knows that we've finished playing and we stop the sound on the harp, we do a damp. And I always put my left hand over the lower strings. If you were on a much bigger harp, I'd say left hand over the bass wires and right hand over the area near middle C. But on the Adventurer 20, we're going to go left hand over the bass notes, right hand with our bottom fingers touching middle C. And then the audience knows to give you a rapturous round of applause for your fantastic playing of hot cross buns. Now, when you're learning, it's all about repetition because we're trying to build a muscle memory for this action. So, muscle memory, repetition, repetition, repetition. What I say to my students is every day you should do each of the items in your lesson, so in this case all of the little tunes that we're about to learn, 6 times over. And that way, repetition every day, and the important thing is daily practice. It's no good trying to do it all on the weekend. So we're going to try our hot cross buns one more time, and we're going to go E, D, C, well done. E, D, C, well done. C, 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 D, 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 E, D, C, and damp. Now I'm going to play it one time through without me shouting the notes out, and then you can practice along to this recording. So now we're going to swap over and we're going to use our left hand. So left hand, tune for the bass clef. If you're looking at my book, you can do tune for the bass clef now. So with the left hand, our elbow is up, and what I say to the little kids is imagine that you've got a string of balloons and it's tied to your elbow. So here's your elbow and you've got a string of balloons tied to your elbow. Thumbs again are pointing up, fingers again are pointing down, grabbing a handful of harp string, imagining you've got your string of balloons tied to your elbow. We're going to go C, B, A, C, A, well done. C, B, A, G, A, B, C, well done. C, B, C, and damp. Well done, fantastic. So, whatever you do with the right hand, try and double up your practice in the left hand. And yes, your left hand will feel like it belongs to somebody else to start with. So, always use the kinesthetic thing, so learning by feel, that if you feel your left arm drooping down against the side of your body, you can think, oh, I need to pick that up. And think about a face on the back of your hand here and a face on the ceiling. They can have a jolly chat. Big tall giraffes sticking up. Okay, trying to find where you can see it best. Big tall giraffes sticking up, finger pointing down, face on the back of your hand and face on the ceiling. And away we go. So we grab a handful of harp string, remember, grab a handful of harp string and flick and fold. C, B, A, well done. C, B, A, well done. C, B, A, G, A, B, C, well done. C, B, C, and dump. You might notice I was saying well done on the minims. So the black notes that are filled in are crotchets, or quarter notes in the American language. So they're worth 1 count. Minims are the clear-centred notes, not filled in, and half notes they're known as in the American language, and they're worth 2 counts. So crotchets are worth 1 count, minims are worth 2 counts, and I was using the well done just to remind us to hold on for the length of the minims. Brilliant! So we're going to jump back. If you're looking at your Adventurer 20 book, we're now going to do drip drip. So we're back to the right hand, arm resting on the soundboard, finger pointing down, thumb up nice and tall, grab a handful of harp string, and away we go. And now I'll do it with the letters over the top and a little bit slower so that you can join in with me. So we're going to go G, F, E, D, C, D, E, F, G, 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 C, G, G, A, F, E, D, C, and dump. And we'll do it one more time. G, F, E, D, C, D, E, F, G, 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 C, G, G, A, F, E, D, C, and dump. So, these simple tunes are designed to get you using your second finger to play tunes and find your way around the harp. So you're really going to think about, all the time you're practicing, pointing your finger down and your thumb up, tucking your spare fingers into the palm of your hand, grabbing that handful of harp string with your finger and flicking and folding. So each time you play the harp, you play the string, imagine that magic line in the palm of your hand that we talked about at the beginning. So here's a very popular tune at the moment because it was in Cinderella. It's Lavender's Blue. So here we go on middle C. So middle C is the lowest C on your harp, and if you're looking at the music, you can always recognise middle C because it's got a line through the middle of it. And it's at the bottom of the treble clef, so below the stave on the treble clef and above the stave in the bass clef. What is the stave, you may be thinking? It's the 5 lines and 4 spaces on which music is written. If you are looking at your Adventurer 20 Harp Method, there's a brief introduction to music reading at the beginning, but you might want to dip onto Gareth Green's Music Matters website, where he's got many videos that you can watch on the basics of music. He's absolutely fantastic. So let's continue with Lavender's Blue. So we're always making sure fingers are pointing down, thumbs are pointing up, spare fingers are tucked in the palm of our hand, and our right arm's resting on the soundboard. And away we go. This is in 3 time, 3/4, 3 crotchet beats in every bar. And to those of you who are dancers and like Strictly Come Dancing, you'll know that this is waltz time. So we're going to go C, G, 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 F, E, D, C, C, A, well done. C, G, 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 F, E, D, C, F, E, D, C, and dump. And let's do it again. So saying the notes out loud as we go will cross the 2 sides of the brain over, and it'll help to reinforce the learning. C, G, 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 F, E, D, C, C, A, and damp. Of course, I'm going to play it one more time through without me saying anything. You can play along with me, and I'm going to go a tiny bit slower. So I'm going to count 3 before we start to play. 1, 2, 3. And damp. And wait for your rapturous sounds of applause. So, we're going to go on to Westminster chimes. This reminds me of my school days. So again, we're learning to jump around the notes a little bit more now, so we're developing our skills a little bit. And we're starting up here on top E. And we're going to go E, D, C, G, 2, 3, C, D, E, C, 2, 3, E, C, D, G, 2, 3, G, D, E, C, 2, 3. You might have noticed that I was counting 3 on some notes. These are dotted minims, or dotted half notes, and they're worth 3 counts. A dot after a note makes it half of its own value again longer. So I'm going to say the notes out loud. You can practice along. E, D, C, G. Well done. C, D, E, C. Well done. G, C, D, G. Well done. G, D, E, C. And damp. And of course, no first lesson would be complete without playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I hope you've enjoyed your first lesson. I'm going to recap the basics. Thumbs up, fingers down, right arm rests on the side of the harp, we call it our lazy right arm, and elegant left arm. Imagine you've got a string of balloons tied to your elbow. Middle C, all the red strings are C, blue strings are F, everything else fits in like it does on the piano. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And damping. So here's our last tune of your first lesson. It's going to be Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So, C, C, G, G, A, A, G. Well done. F, F, E, E, D, D, C. Well done. G, G, F, F, E, E, D. Well done. G, G, F, F, E, E, D. Same as the beginning. C, C, G, G, A, A, G. Well done. F, F, E, E, D, D, C. And damp. And I'm going to play it one time for you, slowly, so you can practice along. Remember, you can rewind and listen as many times as you like. And damp. And remember, you can rewatch this video as many times as you like, and on the next lesson we'll be starting to look at doing things hands together. That'll be 2 hands together on the next lesson, still using finger 2, but starting to prepare 2 hands. I hope you've enjoyed your lesson today, and I hope it's covered everything in the first part of my book. Remember, thumbs up, fingers down, and practice hard, hard.